Hi, Joseph.
Hi, Ekene.
Wow. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
Yeah. See, see what you did? You came
yeah,
before time. Very few, very few people I know come before time in Nigeria.
hmm, yeah,
You see, I'll tell you, one of the big issue I've had with working with people across Africa, okay, but in particular in Nigeria, is that somehow they think their time is more valuable than mine.
yeah.
Okay.
That's actually the meaning of the action.
Yeah, that's what it means. Okay. They come late and you can't even say anything about they come late, they don't apologize, right? And you can't
Yeah,
say anything about it. If you say anything, they will attack you as if, don't you know I'm busy? Hello, I didn't just call you. We scheduled a meeting to talk.
yeah,
Okay. So you can't tell me
yeah.
you're busy. You are busy.
Absolutely.
You are busy on this meeting. You see, uh, I don't know why. I don't know why we do this. And they don't understand that this simple action of theirs, and I'm sure they do it a lot, it affects a lot of things they do
Yeah,
negatively. And they don't know. They don't understand. That's
yeah.
one part. Another part is that they don't even show up.
That's
They don't
that's
show up.
worse.
They don't
Without notice.
no notice. They don't show up, and you hear anything from them.
Hmm.
You see, well,
You
this
know,
is
for
a
me, I try as much as possible to, stand on my word,
yeah,
no matter like the circumstance. Once you put down your calendar,
yeah. If I'm
you
going to
have
be
to show.
late, which is rarely, if I'm going to be late, I will contact the person beforehand to let them know there's something happening that might make me late. I tell the person beforehand, you know. Anyway, nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Same here. You
Good,
know.
good, good. So let's just go on. Let's go on.
Sure,
So,
sure.
please, Joseph, please
Yeah.
introduce yourself to my audience. Tell them who you are and what you do.
Okay, I'm Joseph. I'm a young professional. I've had early career stints in research, particularly working for a think tank and then working on some development projects with a local foundation here in Nigeria. I have an economics background. I did my undergrad at the American University of Nigeria studying economics and did also a master's at University College London, also in economics. So early career, I've mostly tried to apply that knowledge in research. And then more recently, entrepreneurship, co-founding a company with my brothers and trying to do something new.
What's the name of your company?
It's called Kwakol.
Okay. So what does
Yes.
what does Quaco do?
So Kwakol is a multi-services firm. You know, grounded in technology. So we offer a range of services from online brokerage services to research services on a consultancy basis to some of our clients. We also provide, tech services, a whole range of technology services.
Good. So we'll talk about it more later. So, see, I started this podcast in a manner that is not normal. I normally introduce myself, blah blah blah. But I like this. So see, what we started on was talking about people coming late and early. Okay, which late is the norm for Nigerians, and we tend to use the term African time, and it's to me, if you as an economist, if you do a research, okay, to see the impact of African time in the economy of Africa, I'm sure it will be, well, I'm guessing, okay, it will be significant. I'm guessing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'll second that because time, they say is money, but beyond that, I think is a resource as well.
Yes, and is the only resource that we can replenish.
Yeah. So
once gone, it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. So it's terrible when it's wasted, and you can always put the price to that.
See, I believe that if we actually want our people to stop using African time, okay, people like you actually need to do this research, because until you show them that you are losing so much by this behavior, they will not stop. Exactly the same thing. See, are you based in Abuja, Abi? I suppose.
Yeah, I'm Abuja based.
Okay,
yes.
Okay. I live in Lagos.
Okay.
I grew up in Lagos. I worked in Lagos for a long time before I came to the UK.
Oh,
you see,
interesting.
The traffic in Lagos, oh my God. Once it rains, okay, all those heavy rains, and also on those Friday when they do their campaign across Lagos Ibadan
Expressway,
the whole of Lagos is tight. And going from my house, okay, most in the morning, if it rains, going from my house, I used to live in Bagada Phase 2. I hit the third mainland bridge in a minute, okay? Travel from the beginning of the bridge to I've forgotten the name of this place in Ikoyi. Oh my God, I've forgotten everything.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. I traveled to Ikoyi, and then the traffic starts because at the bridge crossing from Ikoyi to VI, because of the pool of water, to pass that space, many cars are already broken down. Okay, so it's difficult. But most of the time, when those church thing on Fridays happen, the whole state is blocked. It might take me it has taken me 6 to 7 hours to go from VI to Bagada.
Bagada.
It's a trip that takes me maximum on a free road, maximum 20 minutes.
You can imagine.
Okay. And it happens a lot.
That's a full work day.
Yeah. Oh, see, one day, my wife, who then used to work in a Ikeja, just her bank was in the secretariat. Okay, from Ikeja secretariat back to Bagada. I had to go outside of my estate to wait for her by 1 a.m.
Wow.
A trip that she started by 6.
Wow. That's 7 hours.
Okay. A trip normally that would take maybe 50 minutes. All right. So those things happen in Lagos. And people like you need to do a research to show them what they are losing. In fact, I've said this before. Economists, a doctor, psychologist, you guys need to work together and design a research that will show the impact of this in our pockets, in our health, physical health, in our mental health. Because we do these things and we don't think about it.
Take them into account, yeah.
And they affect us. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we actually need to do this. Because until we do it, nothing will happen. We'll continue doing all the things that lead to all these things. And anyway, see, I wanted to talk to you. Yes, you are based in Abuja. How you, as a researcher, how do you go from Abuja to Kaduna, to Maiduguri, to Sokoto? I mean, the security issue up north is crazy. The recent attack on the train, there's someone I know. There's someone I know who is still adopted.
Wow. It's really unfortunate, you know, and a lot of those places you mentioned in the past 3 years I've had reason to go there for research or for business. And like you rightly mentioned, security is top of mind when it comes to doing anything in Nigeria currently. You know, if you have business to carry out or research agenda to carry out in any of these places, there are certain areas you'd want to cover that you might be constrained. And, you know, you think about the impact of insecurity in all areas of life, you know, not just in conducting research or in doing business, in actually disrupting the lives and livelihoods of people that are living there. Yeah. You know, you have a personal story of someone, you know, affected by the recent attacks. And, you know, you'll be hard pressed to find a Nigerian that has not had, you know, a close encounter with the insecurity in the country.
Yeah. Yeah. And do we have a solution at hand? I don't know.
You know, I struggle to see one. You know, I struggle to have hope that we'll see a dramatic change in the way things are. I think we've had not the best of approaches to tackling the problem. I think intelligence should play more of a role in the fight against insecurity. I'm not sure how much, you know, that is built into our security infrastructure and how much attention is given to it. we find that we're not in a situation where we're fighting conventional warfare, right?
Yeah.
So I think in situations like this, it's not enough to have maybe the firepower or, mount checkpoints and do stuff like that we've seen our security framework deploy.
Yeah.
I think we need to be doing more of intelligence gathering. I think we need to be doing more of work that nips this problem in the bud. And when we think about security, I think it needs to go beyond, just the resulting insecurity that we see, be it the kidnaps or the attacks in villages. What are some of the drivers of this insecurity? We need a coordinated or holistic effort. So we are addressing not just the insecurity, but also some of those drivers. We know, Nigeria is in a situation where the economy is really in bad shape.
Yeah.
High rates of unemployment, economy-wide, about 33.3%. We also have even higher rates of youth employment, and our population is mostly a youthful population. These are people that are eager to make something of their lives, but the economy fails to produce the opportunities that can make them apply themselves. So it's no surprise, given the poverty, given some of these issues surrounding economic livelihoods of people, to see that people are seeing they can, commit crime or inflict violence without much repercussion from this.
Yeah.
And it's becoming an economic issue. People are kidnapping for ransom.
Everything. See, in the last year, I have done a lot of reading in economics. Okay, I see now. I'm not you. I don't do all the stats. Nah. I do the storytelling of economics. Okay,
concepts. Yeah.
Yes. In fact,
those are important.
I just got the first book of Adam Smith. It just came. See, it just came. I ordered it yesterday.
Nice.
Yes, because I something made me go back to start reading The Wealth of Nations. I read it in my MBA time, okay, in the 1990s. But I found out that I didn't really understand it. Okay. So after reading Milton Friedman's book, okay, that made me to say, okay, let me go back and read Wealth of Nations. I'm still reading it. Now I got Adam Smith's other book, the first book, The Theory of Moral Sentiments. So everything is economics. Okay. And our population is growing. Okay. We haven't done enough to employ the youths that we currently have, and the population is growing. What scares me about the insecurity we have now, okay, is that the population of youths is growing very, very fast. We are not doing anything to employ them, to get them to be useful to themselves and the country. When the population doubles, that means we don't have a chance to stem all this things that are happening right now. We don't have a chance. It scares me, because if we want our people to be gainfully employed in this era, they need to be educated.
Yeah.
See, the level of education, mostly in the North, is horrendous. I mean, it is the same thing across the whole country, but mostly in the North, so what is the solution? Okay, because they're not educating those people. Okay,
yeah.
So anybody can tell them anything, and hey, why? They take it. Okay.
Yeah,
what's the solution?
This goes back to the point I was making earlier about having this multifaceted problem, and we don't have the luxury of just picking up one thing and saying, okay, this is our problem, we're going to solve it. We've fallen into this terrible equilibrium where almost everything is bad. And any effort towards salvaging the situation would need to account for all these things we've been talking about, including education.
Yeah.
I think our system of education is broken, is not able to deliver foundational skills that people need to build their human capital. Build their human capacity. Now, this is even for people that are able to attend at the minimum basic school.
Exactly.
And then we have, depending on which numbers you look at, between 10 to 13 million children that are out of school. So if we have those huge numbers, and that's where the bulk of the population is.
Yes.
And then you also have the numbers that you're celebrating as being part of the system, as going through those early years of school, still not being able to pick up basic things like numeracy and literacy. Then we have a big problem on our hands. So the solution, I think, would have to include looking at our education system holistically. So, be it from a demand perspective. So who are the people walking into schools? How prepared are they to actually learn, right? And how can we help them to ensure that when they interact with the schools, they leave the schools having picked up something? And then from the supply side as well, what are we doing to make sure that schools are properly equipped to do the work of impacting knowledge? So from the resourcing, the teachers, the curriculum, efforts at lowering the barriers to entry. So all those supply side issues, I think, would need to address. And I see some work being done from the research perspective to kind of understand what the issues are, with the view of informing public policy around building more formidable education systems. But the translation from that research to actually improving our education system is another ball game entirely.
Yeah. I mean, okay. I'm happy you're saying that the research is being done. That's fantastic. Okay, but how much is being done? Maybe some is being done, but hey, people like you are doing research. But I will ask you one question. You are not your education is not the norm. Okay, you went to a private school. In fact, okay. So, how many people that are doing what you do, who went to a public school, Nigerian university? How many?
So I think that's the heart of the problem.
Okay.
Right? If we're to push the needle meaningfully on anything improving education, then it has to be through the public system, because that's
Yes.
what is at scale, right?
Yes.
And that's what is able to absorb the huge population we have. Even where you have pockets of efficiency, some private schools here and there, and some new type of innovations around education.
Yeah.
It's not enough until the public system is able to deliver education at scale. Then we've not actually begun.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that in my time, okay, I did everything in school. I've never gone to a private school. Okay. My primary school is called Central Primary School Festac, Fifth Avenue Festac. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if it's still alive, but then 512 Road. Yes. Oh my God, I remember that. Now, I was fortunate that by the time I finished primary school, my father was a A-level history teacher in CMS Grammar School. Okay, so I went to CMS Grammar School. Okay, I was lucky. Okay, to have gone to the first secondary school in Nigeria. Right. Then I went to the University of Lagos. Okay, and then I went to University of Benin for my master's. So now I went to all the schools, and I was taught by good teachers. Okay, on the whole. Now, looking at the level of university education, okay, yes, I know I didn't get a first-class education, okay, but I got a university education that was maybe just one notch below, okay, but I'm able to do things, and I'm able to interact with people who went to Ivy League schools. Okay, I've worked with many of them, and hey, they have not shown they've not shown me anything extraordinary. Okay, that I missed. So what I'm saying is this: in my time, our schools, even though our public schools, even though they were not the best, they were delivering something of value.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, our public schools today, do they deliver things of value?
That's a good question, right? I think you have those little pockets when you talk about institutions that have history, even if they're public.
Yeah.
They tend to outperform, the odd government school in a town or small village in, say, Jigawa State, right? So even when we talk about the public system, it's not homogeneous. There's a lot of variation in what it offers. But I think on a whole, the public schools that are able to reach millions of people continue to underperform in delivering, even like you cited, below first grade type education. We have just a few that you could still, boast of as being able to recruit and retain excellent teachers, able to, keep the standards with regards to how they're able to carry out their activities and ensure that students learn.
Well, see, the ultimate solution to our problem is education. That's it.
I believe so
The,
too.
the ultimate solution to our problem is education. And that's why, for me, I'm so concerned about the level of our educational institutions. We're not doing very well. We are not doing very well, and the population is growing. It's very, very dicey. It is very, very dicey, and it's a concern, a big concern. Yeah. Now you are the research lead in your company, Kwakol.
Yes.
Kwakol, you call it. Yeah. Okay.
Kwakol, yes.
Okay. So tell us about Kwakol Markets, the history, what you do currently, and hey, its future. I like to hear what you think is going to happen, in the future. I like that very, very much.
We actually spend a lot of time thinking about the future. Without discounting what's happening presently, of course. We see what is happening locally and globally and try to identify trends. Some of which we can take advantage of, some of which we see ourselves playing roles in actively, like making them come to maturity. So at Kwakol Markets, like I mentioned earlier, we do online brokerage. So we offer brokerage services to people that trade online. We also do research. I lead the research team. And on the research team, we're usually concerned with topics ranging from finance and markets to business opportunities, to development issues as well. So it's not surprising to see our work touches on policy issues sometimes, or other times strictly kind of market research, trying to identify opportunities that operators can take advantage of, or simply greenfield areas that we feel have true potential to be explored. Going back to also what you asked about the future, we think there are lots of gaps in several areas. We recognize that there are lots of opportunities outside of our immediate environment that technology has done some work in trying to bring those opportunities closer to us. But people still face significant barriers in accessing those opportunities. We see ourselves as being able and tasking ourselves with the responsibility of seeing how we can enable access to those opportunities for people, even local here, right? So even if you're acting locally, you're here, you shouldn't basically be confined to the conditions
local markets.
Yes. So some of our services are geared towards ensuring that you can tap into global opportunities, you can engage economically and get rewards for your economic contributions. So we see a future actually where people are not confined by geography. We're trying to build a global brand. Like I mentioned, we're obsessed about the future, so always thinking about how things are going to shape up. We recognize that things don't just happen. Sometimes it's easy to get locked in the mindset of, okay, things are created or things happen and then we just come and take it. We feel we can change the narrative and we can actually play a role in actually shaping this future. So we don't want to just be consumers in this new era. We want to be part of the people that help.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, put things together.
Very good. So again, research. Where in Nigeria, okay, access to data? Do we now, for example, if I want data of, if I want any data, any national data, okay,
yeah,
where can I get that in Nigeria? Do we have a national library, for example? I don't know.
So we do have an institution with the statutory responsibility of collecting and making available statistics at the national level,
Okay.
the National Bureau of Statistics.
Okay.
So, if you think about macroeconomic data, if you think about, data covering social, economic indicators in Nigeria, they are kind of like the primary source for that type of data.
Okay.
They work in collaboration with other government institutions to kind of put together some of the data. The CBN also, sits on a lot of data. So we see collaborations where there's data sharing and access on both websites. When you talk about some social statistics as well,
can I download data, for example, in their website?
Absolutely.
Okay. So I was just thinking about something. Yeah. I asked myself this question: the data for admission in Nigerian universities for the last 40 years, okay?
Yeah.
The data by course, okay, of admission, and the data of graduation by course. See, I was asking myself, how come we have been churning out university graduates for 60 years, okay? And yet we are where we are, okay? And I was thinking, what kind of courses do we churn out? Okay. Yeah. If the majority of our graduates are in the what's it called now? Are not economists, engineers, scientists, because these guys are the ones who actually build things. Okay. If we had more, let's say, graduates of English than graduates in mechanical engineering, then that's a problem. Yeah,
I see your point.
Okay, so I was looking for the data to ask to ascertain this our university education. What have we produced, and where should we focus on? Okay, so this was something I was thinking about last week. That's why I said, I came up, where is the data held in Nigeria? Where can I find the data?
So I mean, it's interesting. For I struggle to find that for a lot of these interesting research ideas, right?
Yes.
You can't really go to one place and then meet all your data needs.
But so can you get a bulk of it?
So you can use proxies, for instance. So when I want to answer a research question like that, what I'll be thinking about are the examination bodies, for instance.
Okay.
So I will particularly, put my search on a JAMB, for instance. and
For
see,
admissions.
okay, yes, for admissions, and then look at the data. They're more approachable, right, than going to like all the universities to collect their enrollment data. We don't have a central education information system.
Yes.
If you may, but like with JAM, you can see what people's preferences are around the courses they're interested in studying, as well as the universities they're interested in going. Now that data can be a bit noisy because we know that even though we have on average about 1.7 to 2 million candidates every year sitting for the exams, admissions don't exceed 40% of that number. So using that can, you'd have to take the results with like a grain of salt, because you know that the data is not as clean as you want it to be.
Well, my point, my final point of this. We as a country, we need to start gathering data and making the data of anything concerning our country sit somewhere, at least in 1, 2, 3 places, that any researcher who is trying to find out something about our country can go to 1, 2, 3 places, and they know that the whole of the data they need is in those 3 places. Because making things difficult for researchers is making things difficult for our country. You see,
we have a lot of data issues. Even where they're available, they're not as complete as you'd want them. They're not as recent as you would want them. They're not as representative as you want them. So if you want to conduct research and have your results cover the entire country, you'd have to really be careful about judging whether or not the data you've collected actually represents the entire country. And then there's the issue of data integrity. How is it actually collected?
This should be the concern of the body you mentioned earlier, the Bureau of Statistics. Okay, this should be their concern. They should be making sure that they collect as much data as possible, and they should be making sure that the data is as clean as possible. They should not be waiting for.
I lost it there for a few seconds.
Oh, okay. So I was saying that the Bureau of Statistics, this should be their concern, and they should be making sure that they should be gathering the data and putting it into files that are accessible to people like you.
Absolutely. But I do recognize as well that, like with a lot of things, Nigeria, they are constrained not just by their capacity and desire to make this data accessible. They are constrained by resourcing as well. So if you take our society as a whole and consider the amount of attention or importance that we give to say research or evidence-based decision making is not a lot, right? So if you look at budgetary allocations to institutions that have this responsibility, you'll see that it doesn't equip them to be able to do that work. They rely on grants and collaborations with international foundations or development finance institutions to be able to carry out their statutory responsibility.
So their national
responsibility. So you have this weird situation that is, you really can't
well, this is it. This shows you how our government thinks data, how government values data. Okay. And until they realize that data should be their bread and butter. Okay.
Yeah. Because if you think about it, what would you rather have? Would you rather, go through, a difficult situation blind, or actually have, a torchlight to shine through all that darkness? And data is actually that light, right?
Yeah.
That can allow you make informed decisions.
Yeah. So these are the little things that we do that hinders us, as a society, So I don't know. Anyway, this is interesting. This is interesting. Now I saw this post by Basil Abia, your colleague, the post that he shared some time ago about the Emerging Leaders Program. I saw it and I contacted him, say, hey, what's this? And then he told me, it's my colleague who's in charge of it. That's how I got to say, hey, let me know the colleague. So I checked your website, looked at it, and I found your name, and I called you, and here we are. So tell
that's an interesting.
That's how I got to know you. Yeah.
Wow. And it's funny that that was the route, because the mind behind Imagine Leaders Program is a very good friend. In fact, he's present as we speak.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's an initiative that kind of is built around the awareness of all the issues that we've been talking about.
Yes.
You have young people that, the hopes of the entire country, of the entire continent, if you extend it.
Oh, yes.
Lies on their shoulders, but then they're coming out of school or, entering into early adulthood without being equipped with the right things they need to succeed in a rapidly changing world. So, that was kind of like the motivation that drove or inspired, the creation of Emerging Leaders Program. And it's painstaking work. Because how it can get. It took years to put together, and here's is a lot of effort.
I'll tell you this. I'm very interested to know how it's going. If possible, I want to. If you guys will want me to sit on a stool, watching you guys do what you do, maybe shaping one thing or the other. See, I'm so when I met Basil, I was so impressed because I was very disheartened about many young Africans I talked to. Okay. But when I talked to Basil, I was very, very happy. Okay. And here you are. I'm happy. Okay. And I told Basil this. My generation failed Nigeria. Okay. Because people like me in my time didn't do the kind of things you guys are doing. It's not that we didn't have the opportunity. We had a lot of opportunity, but many of us were content to go to the banks, go to the the oil companies earn the big money. And then we have earned the big money. And then where has it led us to? Here. Okay. So I think I'm not saying that if we have done all the things, the Nigeria will be a paradise. No. But if more of us have been conscious about our society beyond our own paycheck, okay, we could have made more conscious decisions about our careers. Okay. See, maybe if we had done something different, we could have even made more money. Maybe.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's it. That's the thing. Maybe if some of us have gone into business, we could have created jobs for a lot of people, more value, made more money.
Yeah.
Because one of the big issue we have in Nigeria is that we don't have enough work for young people. And people of my generation should have created those jobs. We were content to walk into a bank. See, I worked in the bank, okay? I'm always grateful for the opportunities I had. But in truth, after 10 years, I was so sure I wanted to leave. In fact, if I had waited one year after I left school, I never would have got into banking. So I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but I think we missed it. Where we didn't do what we should have done. So I'm happy when I see things you guys are doing, and maybe this is the reason why I have this podcast, to meet young people like you doing different things and creating opportunities all over the continent. Okay, so I'm so happy to see what you guys are doing. All right.
Thank you very much. And I think I share those sentiments in that little efforts can go a long way.
Yeah.
Right. And it's never too late to make a contribution. And I'm sure, like, just by kickstarting important conversations, or getting people to think about things in a new way.
Yeah.
Through channels like yours, push the needle, are able to influence actions that lead to change. So it's always good to see.
Yeah. See, on your program, I would just say this. One of the big issue we have as Africans is that many of us do not read. Many of us do not read.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a big issue. It's a big problem. Okay. Once people finish school and get a job, okay, somehow they think they know everything they need to know, and they stop reading, and it's a big issue. So when important things happen, they start talking. But in fact, when you listen to many people who talk about things and you ask a few questions, you find out they don't know anything. And it's a big issue, okay? Especially with our middle class people. Our middle class do not know enough in what they talk about, okay? Unfortunately, we think once I have a degree, then you know everything. That's a big issue. So if you guys should make it a big deal for people on your program to read.
Yeah,
read,
absolutely. Absolutely.
read.
You know, it's never enough to have a degree. If anything, that doesn't really arm you enough to.
It just opened the door. You just opened the door.
Yes. So that's why, you know, for the program, the focus is on all these other things that are recipes for success. That can, you know, enable you to actually lead a meaningful life, lead a meaningful career, and then carry other people along. Especially in these times that are quite different from, you know, when curriculums were set up, or, you know, even the economic systems of 20, 30 years ago. When in an era that we're witnessing rapid change, and, you know, the transition from one thing to the other is becoming faster, you know. So people need those transferable skills. People need to be able to draw from history, right? And see how things can help open up their minds through reading, like you mentioned. And some of those resources we found on this journey that is easy to think everybody has access or can locate them, but you know, sometimes it's just enough to point people to directions of certain resources.
Okay. All right. I wish you guys the best on this program.
And I see a lot of scope for, you know, you to come in, not just passively like you suggested, but actually, you know, helping to advance the mission. So I'll make sure I keep you posted on all our programs. We have an exciting event coming up. Is in our interactive dialogue series is a debate. So we're taking on the issue of getting Nigeria to work, you know, and what's the recipe for that? Do we need a reboot, or can we reform? Basil is actually is actually one of the people that would be sharing their thoughts on.
I would very much like to listen to that.
So I'll make sure to share all the details with you.
Okay.
And
that's
other
fine.
potential areas that, you know, we could partner.
Okay, very good. See, I like to ask young people like you to advise your fellows. Okay, you are doing things. Okay, and I want more and more and more of you to do things. So, what's your advice to your fellows? Maybe they have not been so fortunate like you, but they can still add value in their own space. Okay. So what's your advice to them?
So it would be that the most important things to pursue are things that you can carry with you from place to place, you know, from one endeavor to another, from one job to the other, right? So these are what people refer to as transferable skills. So at every point in your life, I think the best that school can do for you is to show you how to learn. So at every point in your life, you have to be able to now apply that by learning. And if you have those transferable skills, no matter where you find yourself, you'll be able to excel. Now, in my, you know, short career so far, I've had pivots, and the attitude that I try to bring to some of the things that I've engaged myself in that I also think would be valuable for people is when it comes to actually doing, right? Especially in an area where you have no prior expertise, is to be humble enough to have the mindset of an amateur in that, okay, I'm ready to do the work to get up to speed. And then you can go ahead to push ahead and challenge, right?
Very good.
And then within the intellectual sphere as well, to have that humility to, first do the work before you discount effort, or actually, break down, go to fundamentals like first principles and build up from there.
Good.
I think those are found really useful.
Yes.
And people can benefit from having that type of attitude.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Once you are able to humble yourself at every point, then you can learn something new. See, for me, I had to go back to the drawing board because yes, even though I have been a banker for over 10 years, I had to do that. I have to learn new things, and it's good.
And that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So tell me, see, I'm looking at Africa in 2050. What do you see? Or let me rephrase it. What would you like to see by 2050? What kind of Africa, what kind of Nigeria would you like to see in 20, 30 years' time?
So I'm placing a huge bet on young people. Huge bet. I'm hopeful that within that time frame, would have a different national consciousness. That is the bedrock from which all actions spring from. I'm hopeful that it will be healthier than it is currently. More belief in Nigeria and Africa, and in our drive towards a desirable place to be in, right? And when I think about our long-term development, I'm hopeful that we're going to reach a state of development that we're comfortable in, that we can own. I don't see that we'll follow the same path that other countries have followed. That goes back to also the beliefs I told you I have in young people. I feel we're going to chart our own path. I think we'll arrive at the desired destinations. Some of if you think about the SDGs or other frameworks that kind of summarize what is desirable to make best of the human condition. We're going to arrive at those desired things, probably not following convention or not going the route that other countries have followed. I'm hopeful that we can not just think up ways of doing it, but actually go ahead and do it. Because I believe that there are lots of people doing wonderful work. We're just not seeing that scale yet. And in few years to come, if we go as far as 2050, then it's a whole different conversation. Now, this is not to discount some of the challenges that can delay us on this journey, or kind of constitute barriers. We started by discussing insecurity, for instance, or low human capital and the weaknesses in our education system. So those challenges still remain, but I'm positive that we'll find a way.
Yeah, I believe we'll find a way. But I also believe in this, and I want you to maybe this is a preview for our following discussion, okay? But think about this. For me, I look at the universe. Like I told someone on LinkedIn a few days ago, nature, okay? Nature doesn't waste time. It doesn't reinvent the wheel. When nature finds something that works, okay, it uses it over and over and over again. Okay, if it finds something in a single cell, okay, it doesn't reinvent it in a multicellular organism. No, it just packs single cell, many, put them together, make an organ, put many organs together, make a being. Okay, that's how we are. Okay, we as human beings are trillions of single cells. Okay, no different. Very minute differences, okay, that makes us. Okay. I haven't said that. If you look at economics has been the same from the day that hunter-gatherers came together to form a community of farmers. Okay. They exchange things. Yes, they did barter then. Today, we exchange money for things we want, but nothing has really changed. So what I'm saying is this. Yes, we want to be unique, but we don't want to reinvent the wheel, because reinventing the wheel takes time. Yeah. And we'll be going in the direction that no one has gone before. There is more occasion to fail than looking at what people have done before that have succeeded. Just copy it, put it down, change a few things. Hey, so think about
it. And yeah, I mean that's a fantastic analysis of the situation. And my earlier comment was not intended in that direction, actually.
No. Okay.
So I mean, our own routes development might not look like the textbook economic case, even though it would be. It will follow what you've described.
Okay.
Right. By that I mean.
The fundamentals will still be the same.
Still be the same. Okay. So when I consider like economic opportunities now, looking at, I think initial conditions are very important.
Okay.
We can't want to be like a country that we've seen develop based on different sets of initial conditions and say we would go ahead and copy them, right?
Okay.
We first need to assess, what are our own initial conditions?
Yeah.
And following that route, does it accommodate that? So that's what I mean.
Okay.
We'll still be on the lookout for, economic opportunities and sectors that have certain set of characteristics. For instance, economies of scale, agglomeration economies, for instance, high job absorption rates. So if we don't become the next factory of the world, there are other sectors that, have similar job absorption rates that we can explore, right? Services, for instance, is one. And, I think it's the World Bank that sometimes talks about industries without smoke tax, right? So smokestacks. So we could actually have a different route. Thinking about things that are, not only highly productive, but also tradable. So if you think about even our relations with the world, producing not just for consumption, but also
exports.
Exports. So, I mean, those key characteristics or those fundamental things that would used to judge economic opportunities, they'll still be present. But I would say it's possible to develop without, say, having a heavy industrial sector, like we've seen in places like China and the Asian tigers.
Well, Joseph, at this junction, I say thank you very much for being a fantastic guest of Think Big for Africa.
Thank you for having me. It's been an amazing hour.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Yeah.